Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Microphone check. Screen check. Looks like everything's working correctly here. All right. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully everyone is able to have a solid morning so far and have had things moving along pretty well. I mean, the volatility today is insane. Given the overall movement that we've got going on, obviously, I mean, this thing's just nutty. But with with this overall trend that we've got going, I guess the big thing really that we're kind of keeping an eye on is how today wants to close. Everyone is kind of keeping an eye on, is today going to close above or below, and is it going to be a successful breakout or is it going to be a failed breakout above on the daily chart? And when you're looking at the ozone, you can really see that coming to fruition where we're at the top of the wedge, and they've got to really stick the landing here, otherwise there's going to be some issues. And looking the way that it is now going into the final hour, that's tough. That's not going to be an easy candle to close out for the buyers, at least. We'll see if they're able to stick around with a little bit more, but sheesh. What is it? Oh, okay. I figured out what that did. Okay, we're back. See if the bulls can keep this thing going to the upside. Bulls showing some pretty good conviction higher here. Forming a small little kind of diamond formation, looking for one way or the other to try to break out of this. Looks like the buyers got it. Looking for longs for a breakout to the upside, back up towards 12,035s or so. First objectives a little bit early. Didn't really want to follow through with that secondary move. Buyers buying on that dip, looking for a continuation pop to the upside. Another potential buyer's dip there for another pop to the upside. Kind of looking like a bit of a washout for buyers to either try to continue back up or the sellers are going to get more pullback on. And one way or the other, we're probably going to see a move sooner than later. Nice drive to the upside. Looking to see if we can get a bit more continuation higher now. Just making sure to cover ground a little bit with that gross start. Now it's just a matter of seeing whether or not it wants to keep going. Stop is in. Now it's just a matter of seeing if it wants to keep on going. Nice continuation higher. 12. Oof. Okay. Well, I guess it'll whip back and take it out. Fine. I see how it is. Bulls trying to get a little more continuation now. I like to try to hold on to those runners if it'll let me. You know, big caveat there. Very strong bull push to the upside. Buyers definitely in the driver's seat. See if we can get a bit more continuation to the upside now. Some profit taking coming up on the top. Big heavy bear bar off the highs there. That's, man, that's tough. That looks like a twin reversal. Makes it a little bit more difficult. Sellers coming in hard. Big sell volume coming in. Wow. Okay. And just like that, there's the buyers. Jeez. Okay. Big jump to the upside. Buyers getting a bull engulfing candle right back up. Trying to shut down the sellers. That was a huge response. Buyers maybe trying to get a bit of continuation. I mean, realistically, the day's pretty flat, so there's not a whole lot going on from that perspective. Both the buyers and the sellers can try to get something going here. Nice rejection off the top. With a nice heavy bear bar, too. If the market, I mean, if it is going to dip a little bit lower, realistically, buyers are going to want to see something that's, I mean, at least a bit further down. Something that's just a bit cheaper. More around the 12,010s. Or a really strong bull bar back up, and it's off to the races, I guess.
So it's a headline here. Bank of Canada is to return to the government Canada Treasury bill standard terms of auction. Again, returning to Bank of Canada is returning to normal.
Let's drop that volume down a little bit, huh?
So just a reminder, back in September 15th this year, Bank of Canada decided to reduce the amount.
Sorry about that. Dude came in with the heat.
From 20% to 10% of tendered amounts. So just the Bank of Canada reducing their amounts of how much bond buying they're doing from government debt.
So far, movement overall is not really doing much. Again, consolidating. Lots of sideways price action. It's got to break up or down, get something going. Constricting a little bit, now forming this kind of pennant-esque, wedge-esque kind of thing. Also kind of a diamond. And usually those lead to some pretty decent breakouts. Be nice if maybe it came back to a bit more of a point, though. Some nice selling volume coming in here. See if they can keep it going or not. That's it. That's not it. Lost ground a little bit underneath that low. Buyers trying to push back up. Buyers are trying to get that move going. That's a nice bull bar up. Not good follow through though. That is a monster of a bear bar to the downside. Holy. I'll look to sell into this pop here for sellers to get a follow through back to the downside. But if it fails, the nice thing is really don't have to give it a whole lot of room. Still going to keep the risk light by keeping the sizing small, but downside objectives make sense to look for. I mean, right now, realistically, down towards those 12,005s. Let's see, risk reward for a 2-to-1 move if it wants to follow through for the larger objective would be down here. I like this bear bar down, and I wouldn't mind seeing if I can get maybe a bit more, maybe another contract or something for a longer term move. And a shorter term move. Kind of get that combo play. That dip back in a break even hit though, if this starts pulling back up, that's going to be an issue. All right, sellers got a nice bear bar. Now they've got to try to follow through. Everything's looking good. They've just got to finish the job. Gotta see the sellers continue this drive to the downside and keep that pressure up. We break down to a new low and it's game on. Now it's time to go down with it. Oh, I got swept out. Man, I thought the bottom was going to drop out of that one. All right, well, I got swept out for a... it was still not bad, but I wanted to see a little bit more of a flush than that. Oh, well. Nice push. I'll take it. Still not really back down to that zone of interest for buyers. Big jump back to the upside, too. Bears trying to push back down again. This is just a slugfest right now. Bulls trying to get an upside break. Really nice momentum for an upside break as well. I like this for a continuation. That looks really nice. Bulls are nice and strong. Everything's lining up for buyers to take this back. The sellers just failed. So seeing a continuation drive back to the upside makes a lot of sense here. Upside objectives obviously back through the top, preferably a little bit further. Looking for a break above the 40s. Would like to see objectives get in towards the 45s. I mean, realistically, back up towards the 50s would look really good. Nice push. Looking for continuation now and just following through the rest. Well, hello there. All right, stops at break even. Whippy dippy thing. Jeez, oh Pete. Got a nice jump to the upside. Took a quick little scalp with that back and forth, and then the jump up into the swing objective. And then it flushed all the way back down again when I was trying to get my stop up to break even. Sheesh. If buyers can follow through with another halfway decent rally, then, I mean, they've got a shot. They've got a shot at breaking above those 50s and trying to keep it going. Buyers trying to get that push back up. Oof, it's real high, though. It's so far up here. Out of all the places to try to break out of, this is not the easiest. Don't mind my caffeine addiction. See if we can get a little bit more information here. Does the market want to go higher? Does it want to go lower? It's just kind of stuck right now. We're not really getting a yes or no from either side. Buyers seem stronger. But then every time they poke their head up, it gets whacked right back down again. Selling volume coming in a little bit heavier here. Getting even more selling volume in. Sheesh. Sellers are trying to roll the market back over again. That was a heavy drop to the downside. That came on the back of a good chunk of volume there. Finally dipping back down into that zone of support. A little bit late, but, you know, I guess better late than never. Sellers in the definitive driver's seat, pushing the market lower. Now breaking back below 12,000. 12,005, a little bit above 12,005, has some sellers floating around up there. More likely on the scalping side. Big heavy drop down too, so I'm going to look for a short back down here. I like this area to try to pressure the lows again. If they're going to break it lower, this is going to be the zone that they're going to try to do it from. All right, nice push. There's the target. Great drive. Now, if you're able to grab multiple contracts, and maybe, you know, if that fit the bill for a trade setup on you on your end, then, you know, hey, there's runner targets where a lot of traders will be just putting stops to break even, letting it go. See how long it wants to fall. Still pretty far down. A lot of sellers would like a better area to enter in on, and a lot of buyers are probably stuck. Right, so they were buying looking for continuation. They just got the hammer dropped on them. Sellers, for the most part, looking for a bit further back. Back up above 12,005s or so. That's going to be the bigger zone of interest. Although 12,000 is going to be a big zone of interest. It's kind of hard to ignore that one. Sellers trying to get pressure back to the downside again. Really, really heavy pressure, but as soon as they hit the low, double bottom. The volume's jumping all over the place. Lordy, lordy. Big buying volume stepping up underneath the 92s and trying to push back up again. Now drop back to the 88s, 87s, 88s. Possible trap above those highs. Sellers attempting to rotate it back down, maybe, but there's a lot of weakness down here if sellers are going to take it. See if sellers can get this to rotate back to the downside or not. Oh man, there's a mess inside here. Nice jump to the upside. Sellers are going to be looking for another breakdown here from 750s. Realistically, around the 13s, it's still going to be a viable area for sellers to try to pressure back down. So I don't necessarily want to, you know, I don't want to choke it out before it has a chance to actually get moving, but oof, that's a heavy bear bar again. Might not be able to get that pop up towards 7.5. Jumpy markets popping all over the place. Not really accomplishing too much, though. All right, well, sellers still putting on a good amount of pressure here, and a strong enough bear bar is going to shut down the bulls' chances. That's going to be a nice attempt. Wow, I didn't get any of that. I hit the ask on it. I hit nothing. It was just gone. A little bit of pop towards the 90.75s, kind of backfill that area. Watching the 90.75s to see if sellers want to repressure the earlier entry point. It went so fast that I've got to imagine a lot of sellers probably missed the train. And given the sentiment to the downside here, if it can push back up to that point and we find good resistance. Also, to be noted, a lot of sellers, because it went so fast, might not be in the move. So if it shows a heavy enough signal, there might be so many sellers at the bottom, it just blows through the floor. I just don't want it to do it before the candle closes. I want a candle closing on the lows before the breakout. That's a good move down, and I'm willing to give it a short, but not as aggressively as I would have otherwise. Like to see a breakdown through, I mean, realistically, I'd like to see the 75s, but... Oh, okay, fine, cool. Yeah, that's fine. I got swept out. I put a stop in because I was going to trail it down. And as soon as I moved it, man, that bugger popped right up and just like, oh, thanks. Somebody else wanted that contract. Nom, 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 nom. It's just gone. All right, fine. I didn't want it anyway. It's cool. Note to self, put stops in farther away. Jeez. All right, well, short downside objectives are in around this area. I mean, realistically, sellers aren't going to want to see the 75s lost by too much. It'd be nice if I was in it, but apparently shot myself in the foot, so. See if sellers can get a continuation breakdown. Man, what a drive. Coming into 330. Zone of resistance. Oh, man. Well, the market keeps falling, so it's a little bit difficult to kind of narrow down where it is at the moment. Seems like the majority of minor swings are kind of floating around the 70s to 75s. If the shorts are going to try to pressure, this is going to be the area where they're going to try to pressure from. It's a big, heavy move to the upside. Looking to see the sellers try to pressure back down again. Want to see the push back below the 79s. If buyers start showing too much strength here, then that would be a zone of earlier resistance now holding as support. So we've got to see the sellers kind of pressure this. I'm going to reduce another one around that break-even point just to give me a little more wiggle room. That bull bar back up makes things a little bit more complicated, and if they're not going to follow through, then it's not worth it. I'm out. Blech. Way too strong of a bull rally to the upside. It was either going to be a washout and a reversal back down, or just a straight up reversal. In this case, it was a reversal. Jump back up. Still have resistance around 12,000. Big heavy bear bar off the top there, putting a bit of pressure on the bulls. The buyers obviously have a very strong move to the upside, so we could be dealing with a situation that shorts are still maybe stuck or feeling a bit pressured. If it starts coming back down, showing too much support, then might see it just pop. Buyers trying to get that move back to the upside. All right, sellers trying to put that last little bit of pressure on here. We've got a nice potential trap above the highs. Really trying to get it to roll over a little bit further. That's a really nice bear bar. I like that for a potential short. If they're going to carry it lower, this is going to be the launching pad. And if this move down fails, then it's going to be pretty decisive in the other direction. So we can get a little bit more juice to the downside. A big bull bar here is going to be a bit of an issue. I'm not interested in holding through a bull bar either. I'm going to jump ship on that one. That bull bar, it's a second long, and if it goes back down again and forms another possible trap, I'll look for a re-entry short. That's fine. But if that bull bar were to follow through and continue, that thing could rip the floor off and just go screaming higher. It's not worth the risk. Really nice bear bar to the downside. See if we can get a slide back down. That's the re-entry point. Sellers looking for a bit more continuation now. Watching sellers try to get this continuation down, but nobody's really showing up to the party yet. 70s seems to be a little bit of a wall. There we go. Nice drive to the downside. We found the sellers. Looking for a continuation to the downside. More objectives lower as it continues down. I'm going to put my stop in, but far away. There we go. Okay. It's got to make sure I put it in, you know, 1.5 miles away from the market just so that it doesn't take it out immediately. Well, it still took it out immediately. Okay. Well, hey, you can't blame me for trying, right? Jeez. Now, a follow-through breakdown will be looking for more sellers' continuation. Eventually, these buyers are going to start giving up. And if it's more bear bars after bear bar after bear bar, with more pressure stacking up like that, they're not going to hang out for much longer. And that's when you start seeing the bottom get blown, just becoming a massacre. Be careful, though. The seller's got to prove it. Ooh, nice bear bar. Are they going to... they're showing back up to the party? All right, trying to get a little bit of a pop higher. Another nice jump to the upside. Oof. Big pop to the upside. I'm going to look to jump out on this quick little pullback here and see if they can get a dip further down. Big wick on the top, so I don't mind holding on to the short for another continuation, but if they start triggering back above with some strength, it's going to be an issue. I don't even mind re-adding to the short if they give me a reason to. I like this area. We've just got to see the bulls get trapped sufficiently enough so that the bottom can blow off, if that's what's going to happen. Weak bear bar doesn't really prove a whole lot of anything. See if the bears want to follow through a bit more. Very congested. Lots and lots of volume sitting at around the 64s. Sellers were still able to close it as a bear bar, although pretty weak. If they can break down through the lows, that's the seller's chance to try to get it to go. They got a double bottom. Can they step back up to the plate? Oh man, it's a fist fight here. Sellers putting on a lot of pressure. That's a heavy, heavy bear bar. They got to follow through. Sellers failed. Big jump to the upside. It might just be a washout. And if that's the case, we'll see a bear bar follow right back down again. But that big bull bar rejection back up, it might be a spoof, but if it's not, there's going to be some juice behind it. There's a big brick wall of orders sitting at 75 that just got wow, that just got eaten into. Inside bear bar. Lovely. That doesn't prove a thing. Sellers attempting to put the pressure back in towards the downside. Oy. Man, if the bears start triggering underneath that, got a bear engulfing triggering lower. Not triggering in the bears is just as telling, especially if this follows through with a big bull bar closing on its highs. That's a great sign. Looking to see if we can get a bullish continuation on that bull. That's a beautiful bull bar to try to follow through for continuation back to the upside. Upside objectives are going to be back towards the 90s, and I don't see a reason why they won't be able to achieve potentially all the way back up towards 1200s. It's just a matter of seeing if they have the juice to do it right now. Bear engulfing candle back down. Oof, how are they going to close this? That's nasty. I'm out. Nope. Got to pop up for a quick target and then a flush back down for a stop. Okay. 20 minutes to go until we run out of time. Oof. Big bull pop back to the upside again. Those bears tried stepping up to the plate and they just got smacked right back up again. Bears trying to come back in. Ooh, okay. Nice bear bar down. Looking for a continuation move on that if they want to try to get that going. Ooh, lots of wick on the bottom, though. They've got to follow through if they're going to take it. If the bears want to break this down, this is going to be their chance. And if it's going to reverse back up, this is going to be where it reverses back up as well. So sellers failing here isn't necessarily a bad thing because that's a reversible type position back up. Sellers reconfirming with more bear pressure back to the downside. We've got to see them push through the lows next. Downside objectives are going to be for the floor to blow off underneath 60. Great bear bar. Got to put some pressure in underneath 60, though. Good bear move to the downside. Bulls pop it back up. Just a fist fight again. Man, oh man. Come on, push. Get the lows. Get the lows just a little more. Break it down. First target's off. Looking for a little more continuation now. See if you can get that break below the floor. We're at those 60s. They've got to push. Very nice. Keep on going, NASDAQ. Bears trying to keep this run going. Ugh. Jumped up a little bit too far. I'm going to bail on that one. If I would have had more contracts, then I wouldn't be bailing on everything. But that pop higher there is a reason enough to bail out on secondary trails. Big bear continuation to the downside. Great move down. That worked out beautifully. Sellers still in the driver's seat, carrying it lower. Wow. So far, every attempt to the upside has been sold right back down again. That's a giant bull bar. Let's see what happens here. All the other ones failed. Looks like sellers are coming in with some juice. Or not. Went right back up again. Oh, man. I mean, bulls maybe trying to get a breakout to the upside. That was one heck of a jump higher. Orders look like they're starting to get scattered all over the place on the 1 second. NASDAQ currently down 1%. That's a heavy bear bar off the top. Sellers attempting to get some more pressure to the downside. Just hanging out ahead of the lows here. Sellers breaking down to a new low. Big seller showed up at 950 and a big buyer at 940. Lots of orders hit on that flush there. Coming down to some pretty big support here at 30.5. We also have 26.89, which is the morning brief zone of support. Some heavier orders hitting underneath the lows so far. Nice bull bar. Market just kind of stalling out here. Buyers put in a really strong bull bar, and now they're getting pressed up against. I like that for a possible short to the downside. Looking for a continuation push down through the 30s if they want to follow through. Nice bear move to the downside. And scalpers out at their objectives. Next targets are going to be down to 30 halves and then 26.89. Big push to the downside. Rejected back up again. Sellers aren't doing so great down in the lows, so chances are they're gonna... Whoa, okay, never mind. And scratch that. All right, 350. That's what threw the market for a loop there. Got 10 minutes until the close. See if these sellers want to keep things going to the downside or not. Nice heavy continuation lower. NASDAQ down 1.3% now. Sellers continuing to the downside. Next zone of support at 902.75. 9 minutes until 4 o'clock end of the day. Big buyers stepping up into the 900s. I can't believe we're through the 900s already. Jeez. Big push to the downside. Pretty big brick wall of orders coming up here to try to pressure this back up. Heavier bullish pressure coming in. And just like that, sellers push the gas pedal again, trying to get it to rotate back lower. Nice bull bar back up. If bulls are going to take it, that's going to be the launching pad for them to try to take it off of on this 906, 907 area. So I like it for a possible long, because if it fails, then it's going to be fairly obvious, and it's going to be typically not too high in terms of risk. Weak bear bar down doesn't prove a thing. That bear bar back down, though, that's enough to make me nervous. I will jump out of that one, no thanks. I also like that bear bar for a continuation short, especially with that follow-up bear bar down. Bears might have another pressured move lower here on that. Another really good bear bar down. Objective's going to be down into these 90s here. That's the first objective area. Next targets are going to be looking for a little bit more continuation. Don't want this to go too far up, though. Okay. Back down again. Nice little flush. We kind of got that out of our system now. Put the stop in 1.5 miles away, right? Got to make sure that it's in the right place. All right, stop is in now. See if we can trail this thing down. 886. Now a little bit lower, 81.75. Oh, don't you? No. You keep falling. Nope, none of this pullback stuff. No, you got a bottom to blow off. Come on now. Beautiful drive to the downside. Keep on chugging. Trailing along with to see if we can hang on to it for a little while. Don't pull back. No. Oh, taken out. Beautiful drive to the downside. Wow. See if sellers want to follow through with a bit more now. That was a nice heavy bear bar after the, basically after it stopped everyone out on the run. Now starting to pressure back down again. Sellers are probably going to be looking for a continuation. I tried hitting the ask, but I didn't get filled. Too strong of a bull bar back up now. Ooh, that bear bar though. I'll look for another short. Oh man, really? I tried hitting the ask. I didn't get filled on that either. All right. I see how it is. Got a couple more minutes until we move into the end of the day. Bear's still putting some serious pressure on. What a drive down, jeez. Continuing to slide lower. Man, I tell you what, we start seeing this thing fall too much harder, and the floor is going to start falling out here. This is a serious rejection off the top. We're getting some pretty heavy bulls too. At 358, that's when the end of day orders stop. That's when things get a little bit crazy. That's when things start getting fun. That's when things start getting executed, liquidated, margin called, etc. Big bull jump to the upside. Big bull jump to the upside. And not a single pullback to be found. A little bit of a flush back that buyers might be looking to buy into. I'll look to buy this as a possible washout for a continuation pop to the upside. It's a heavy bear bar though, so it's taking a little bit of an aggressive stance. I'm going to try to bring my average down because the market is dropping hard. I'm going to look to flip gears. This is becoming a little bit too heavy for me to want to stick around. Oops, no, I don't want to be anything. I want to be flat. There we go. Final minute. Big bear bar back to the downside. I love that for another short continuation push. Ay, 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 ay. Let the floor drop. Nice little quick wash out there for another drive lower. Sellers still meaning some pressure here. Big jump to the upside. Big bear wash back to the downside and a heavy flush. Oh, man. All right. Sellers coming back in with some serious business. I'm going to look for a quick short into this pop for another flush down through the lows. Didn't get the flush. I'll jump out there. Of course, then it flushes after. We've got 10 seconds. Big blow off through the bottom. Woo, lordy, lordy, lordy. All right. There. Now it's 4 o'clock. All right. That's going to do it. Overall, crazy, crazy day. Hopefully you had a fun one. I don't think it's done yet. We've still got a lot of stuff going on, so just be careful out there. That's going to do it, though. Hopefully you had a great day of trading, and we will see you all tomorrow, right? Have a good one. If you have any questions or anything that I missed, feel free to shoot me an email, jhb@ssftg.com. Till next time, talk to you all later. Thanks.